Today I'd like to talk with you about something that I call the practice development pyramid. This actually started with a friend of mine many years ago, and it's been adapted and adopted in a lot of different ways. And this pyramid today is the foundational piece that I use when I'm coaching practices. I think this model could work in almost any business at all. I specifically appreciate its application, however, to dentistry. And since that's what we're doing, I think it works. As we look at the pyramid together, I'm going to start with the base layer, or the foundation that, in my experience and in my own life, have found to be most important, and I think the strongest foundation. And that is, what is it that any of us want for our life? I think the days are gone when we work without any regard at all for finding that elusive balance. And I know in my parents' generation, I'm in my 50s, so my parents, my dad would be 80-something years old if he was still alive. That generation and below, it really was their time to focus solely on work and figure out where life might be able to fit in. And today, that model simply is not how we live our lives. So I encourage my docs, as they're starting to create the foundations of building their practices and their businesses, to think first from the moon about the bigger picture. How much time do you want to have off to be with your family, to vacation, to explore other hobbies outside of dentistry? What do you want the whole picture to look like, and where will dentistry fit into that? Where will your business fit into that? So vision for your life is what I really like to have as the base of this pyramid. Moving up to the next level is time to create, and I do say that it's the dentist's obligation, responsibility, and gift to everyone else in the practice and to themselves to be the one to write, envision, and create this wonderful, compelling picture of the vision that they have for the business, for the team, and also for the patients. And why, you may ask, why is it the dentist's job? Why can't the whole team come together to build the vision? And my response to that is, teams typically are going to be dynamic. As much as I want to believe that there'll be team members that stay with the practice for decades at a time, it's the dentist owner that has the greatest deal of not only financial, but also personal investment in the practice itself. So is it okay to engage other people in the creation and development of the vision? Absolutely. And at the end of the day, it's most important that the person whose name is on the door is fully committed and can fully feel and see where the ultimate vision is going to be for the practice 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road. So thinking about the different components of this second layer, vision for the business would probably include profitability, the way that you organize yourself. Vision for the team, how do you want the team to experience themselves when they're at work? Think in terms of how they look, communication skills that you will help them derive and explore, how they will work together in terms of collaboration, co-creation. What are the negotiable things and non-negotiable things that you want to work with your team members? And of course, what is the vision for your patients? What's the type of care that you want them to receive? How do you want them to experience themselves when they're in your office? Do you want to have an urgent care type dental practice where they're coming through and you don't really develop relationships? Or are you looking more toward comprehensive care, relationship-based dentistry, where you want them to go out and scream from the rooftops to bring their friends, bring their family, because this is a place where your patients will come and feel very special and very attended to? The next level of the pyramid is around personal and professional growth and development. So think of this layer in terms of, I'm making a personal commitment to my own growth professionally and personally, and I also want to surround myself with like-minded individuals that have a growth mindset, an outward mindset, are learners, doers, activators, that hold a great deal of compassion and a desire to be in service to other people. What does that look like for you? Now, when you look at the three layers that we've put together so far, what you'll notice is it's in a dark purple. I call these three layers the core layers, or the internal layers, because these are all about what's going on inside of me, inside my belly, inside my heart, inside my own thinking. None of the things in the first 3 layers can be actually touched. Now we're going to start moving up to the actual behavioral and implementation levels of the pyramid. The next one is standard operating systems. That's the term that I use for your operations manual. For the systems that I strongly encourage you to have in writing. So what are these systems? The systems are, how do you have your morning huddle? What does it look like exactly? How is it done? Your team meetings. How do you schedule your patient appointments? How are you answering the phone? How are you billing? How are you collecting money that's owed to you? Anything and everything that happens in your office is a system. Most offices have thousands of systems, many of which have never been written down. So one of the things that I find to be very important, and it's a big part of the work that I do with my teams as a practice coach, is to offer a structure on exactly how to write the systems. So each system would basically say, what are we doing and why are we doing it? And then answer the 5 behavioral questions. Where is it taking place? Who's responsible? When is it happening? And exactly how do we do this? The benefit of having systems is so multidimensional, but the biggest reason to have written systems is so that you have a high level of predictability as much as possible throughout the day. And when there's questions about how things are done, you can literally go to the manual and say, let's see how we wrote this to make sure that we're following it as it's been written, or is it possibly time to innovate, to rewrite, to revisit, to bring it more current with a way that would be even more effective for us as a team. I have found with all the hundreds of practices that I've worked with, been in, and worked at myself, that practices that are committed to working with an operations manual through systems are typically far more predictable and highly effective and have greater performance than those that do not. I want to leave as little up to chance as possible. The next layer of the pyramid is about creating a consistent patient experience. If I have my vision in place for the practice, we're all committed to a mindset of continuous improvement and growth, and we have systems that can be followed on a regular basis, it seems very, very natural and probable that the patients coming in are going to have a consistent experience. And when I say consistent, I know that perfection does not exist. So I'm hoping that all of our systems are operating at an effective rate of 85 to 90% of the time. And that 85 to 90% of the time, the patients that are coming in and leaving would report to people that they love and trust that they have had an amazing experience and that they would be excited to be referring those people back into the practice. Then and only then is it time for the next step in the pyramid, and that would be when it's time to market. Now, it's crazy when I think about this model, because when I talk with dentists and ask the question, what keeps you up at night? I don't have enough patients, I need to market. Well, it's real easy to get caught up in, okay, let's market. What I want to suggest is that you don't market until the other layers of the pyramid are in place and solid. That may not work perfectly if you're a brand new startup practice. Of course, you have to market earlier than later. When you're looking, though, at the effectiveness, predictability, and the metrics of your practice, I would start looking at systems working and making sure the right team is on board before I would go out for a huge marketing incentive. Oftentimes the problem is not with marketing, but it lies in the levels below. Marketing includes internal marketing, how well all of your team and the dentist are cheerleading for your practice, promoting the kind of dentistry that you want to be doing. Little things like soft giveaways, baskets, using social media, I think is a sweet combination of internal and external marketing, because so many of us are included and we're seeing each other's faces. And of course, external marketing. Whether or not you want to look at Google ads, using anything on the internet that would be digital, or do you want to get involved in community service, print ads, higher-end magazines, maybe looking for local businesses that have similar vision and values, such as plastic surgery offices, or I don't want to get all involved in marketing. I think you get where I'm coming from. But that is really, really close to the top of the pyramid. And last but not least, The beauty happens when all of these things line up one after another, and you can look back over your shoulder and in the moment and say, wow, we really have attained success. And at the top of my pyramid, I have it, your success. Because I find that if I talk to 10 people, I may get 10 different definitions of success. And I would encourage you, before you even enter in to the other layers of the model, start with the end in mind. What is your definition of success? Is it around financial accumulation? Is it around personal rewards, that I'm part of something bigger than myself and I really like to give back, and the joy of what I gain from dentistry? There's so many different things that can come together for all of us to say, what is success to me? For me, once I define what success is, it becomes easier to say, what is the vision that I have for my life, and what is the vision that I have for my business, and work my way back up. So this is a beautiful and dynamic model, and I hope you find it helpful.